Now that you've done the fun part and participated in the activities, it's time to think about what learning progression would occur within Art and DT and what strategies and skills the children will have developed. To start with, the children's learning would have progressed just within these lessons by meeting some of the national curriculum objectives for Art and DT. For example, within the art mark making activity, the children will have been taught to develop their techniques, including their control and use of materials, with creativity, experimentation and increasing awareness of art and design. They will also have begun to improve their mastery of art and design techniques, including drawing and using a range of materials, and will have been introduced to great artists. To top it all off, within the DT activity, the children will have developed design criteria to inform the design of innovative, functional, appealing products that fit the purpose. The children will also generate, develop, model and communicate ideas through discussion and select from and use a wider range of materials and components, including textiles and ingredients, according to their functional properties and aesthetic qualities. Ultimately, they will develop their ability to prepare and cook when designing their packaging and making their fridge bars. So, just by participating in these lessons, it's pretty clear that the children's learning will have progressed in these two subjects. These topics would be developed across time to even further progress the children's skills and consolidate their knowledge. Now, it's time to have a look at the strategies that you will have engaged with during the activities. These include talk for learning, collaborative learning, learning within a spiral curriculum, and being a part of a creative classroom. It is widely regarded that talk is one of the most important aspects of children's learning. So, how can it be used in the classroom to effectively teach art and DT? Alexander notes that teacher modelling is one of the most crucial types of talk. During whole class instruction, teachers can model the skills that they expect to see from their students. This modelling, which we have demonstrated throughout our activities, is based on an established purpose and provides students with a mental model for completing the task. This interlinks with guided instruction, which we incorporated by showing you how to mark make. Barnes states that guided instruction is where teachers use talk to determine what students know and what they still need to know. This provides opportunities to use questions to help students complete tasks. Although guided instruction is teacher-led, the children are still involved in talk through asking questions of the teacher, of peers and of themselves, as well as to clarify understanding, provide feedback and reflect on the progression of their learning. Also, we have demonstrated collaborative learning and therefore collaborative talk, which you have engaged with through both of the activities. You may have noticed that this type of talk enables students to discuss tasks and question one another, negotiate meaning, clarify their own understanding and evaluate their work. Therefore, their understanding progresses as they talk with their partners to reflect on their learning.
Collaborative learning has been defined as working together towards a common goal. This is where pupils take responsibility for working and increasing their knowledge together. They are responsible for one another's learning as well as their own. Some of you may be thinking, collaborative learning, is that the same as cooperative learning? Well yes, it is similar, but with a slightly different goal. Pupils do not simply work in a group to complete a task, which could mean that less able members of the group do not contribute to the successful outcome. In collaborative learning, the object is to ensure that each member of the group learns something, so it is in the interest of the whole group for its members to help explain concepts thoroughly to all other group members so that they can all progress. So, take today's activities for example. In DT, you should all have worked together and helped one another to come up with different ideas for designing your own chocolate bar packaging. And what about in art? Collaboration in art is so important, as it could be said that any art piece is never truly an original. We borrow ideas and adapt them according to our own experiences, the materials we use and our intended purpose or audience. We may not literally make a collaborative art piece, but talk is an essential part of the process, and the effects of talk will be cumulative, allowing us to build on the experiences of others. This is exactly the process that we've tried to create in our art activities we've shown you today. So, does it really work? Well, there are loads of researchers, such as Beckman, who have found that pupils working collaboratively tend to learn more and remember what they have learned for longer. They also enjoy their classes more. Vygotsky found that pupils collaborating in groups perform at a higher intellectual level than when they work individually. Different members of the group can take on the role of the more knowledgeable other in Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, helping the whole group improve their skills and knowledge. Also, Slavin found that cooperative learning consistently produced positive effects on self-esteem, intergroup relations and attitudes towards school. So, adopt collaborative learning in your classroom and it seems you can't go far wrong.
The idea of a spiral curriculum was coined by Jaron Bruner in the 1960s and has been built upon by many since. So, what is it? Bruner describes it as any subject can be taught effectively in some intellectually honest form to any child at any stage of development. This is a complex way of saying that all children can be taught certain concepts, first at a more basic level, and then, as they progress through school, they can revisit these concepts until they eventually master them at a deeper and more difficult level. I know what you're thinking. Isn't this exactly what we already use in schools and refer to as progression? And yes, you're right. Generally, schools have adapted this approach and introduced certain ideas at a basic level in Key Stage 1, and by the time they reach the end of Key Stage 2, they have progressed to a much higher level of understanding, and this is reflected in our national curriculum. This is particularly true for art and design technology. It is important, however, to acknowledge that teachers must communicate the correct level that the children have reached with previous teachers in order to build on this effectively. Not only does this progression happen as children move up a key stage, but it is also present as children progress through each key stage year by year. This is something we wanted to reflect in our activities shown to you today. Children are building upon ideas from previous years and then progressing through a series of activities that build upon the concept step by step. So, to recap, Bruner was the main man we have to thank for the idea that a spiral curriculum can help children to gain a deep, mastered understanding of different concepts. This idea can be applied easily to the teaching of art and design technology, as the national curriculum naturally lends itself to this idea. Not only that, but with recent changes to levelling in schools, teachers are now required to teach to mastery level, something that becomes a lot easier when you consider a spiral curriculum. So there you have it, an important strategy for the teaching and learning of art and design technology, a spiral curriculum.
Creative teaching is argued by Jeffrey and Kraft as effective teaching. There are many views held on what a creative classroom looks like and what creativity actually means within the curriculum. So what does it actually look like? Creativity is the capability of being able to communicate ideas in different ways and being able to take others' ideas and develop them. It is also being able to apply skills into different contexts and adapt these ideas to a preceding goal. Here, we can note the pedagogical theory of cognitive development, Mercer's theory of exploratory talk, where children are able to share ideas, Vygotsky and Bruner's theories on social interaction and scaffolded learning, and Bloom's taxonomy for developing cognitive skills and critical thinking skills. It is therefore vital that the classroom environment caters for physical, social, intellectual and cultural factors which enhance a creative learning environment. The National Curriculum's open approach allows a plethora of opportunities for schools to plan and assess for creative learning outcomes. Most importantly, harnessing a creative learning ethos that celebrates children's physical, social and intellectual achievements. Art and DT, two very subjective areas of the curriculum, allows the opportunity to integrate all of the attributes mentioned. Teachers themselves must foster and encourage creativity in others. When considering Maslow's hierarchy of needs, children must have all of the basic needs, such as self-esteem and confidence, in order to reach a state of self-actualization where creativity can effectively flourish. It is therefore a responsibility of a teacher to know what children's needs are and how to enhance and encourage confidence in creativity. As demonstrated through the aesthetics of the classroom before you, we have used the opportunity to use the classroom as an interactive stimulus to excite and place the children literally within a creative learning environment. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory really does take the golden ticket for harbouring all of these key aspects of the creative classroom. The teacher's desk that you see before you reminds and inspires the teacher of creative learning strategies and theories that ensures that creativity is the heart of the classroom.